I mean, come on. I, you and me just met, for the podcast thing and stuff. Bro, I'd stop for you in a minute and get out. Hey, brother, you all right?
I mean, dude, tell
I'd
me.
stay there with you until the ambulance got there.
I have pulled over for strangers on bikes, dude. I pulled over
I
for
have too.
strangers just
I have too.
once it happens to you and you realize how much it fucking sucks, you're just like, the worst case scenario, dude, I can give you a ride down the fucking street to a gas station or a phone. I mean, don't fuck,
Right.
I mean, that's my biggest thing, dude. That's my, and it's not just within the MC community. And I said this to you on the phone the other night. I says, the definition of brother to me is a lot different than a lot of other people's. And so when people call me brother, they better understand the fucking meaning behind it and the actions behind it, because it's a jungle most people can't fucking play in. You know what I'm saying? And the word respect.
I know exactly.
Yeah, that word respect and integrity are a big fucking deal to me, man. And if I expect people to be loyal to me, I have to show the same loyalty in return. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I always used to hate when they send you a message and always put on there love, respect, and honor. I'm like, ain't got a fucking thing about honor, man, because they leave you on the side of the road. Bro, it was so many. There were so many, like, things I should have opened my eyes to and said, "Wow, this ain't for me." And I give you a perfect example when Pat's truck in Minnesota, it got bombed, right?
Yeah.
So the truck got bombed, and they put a bomb under it. Supposedly, apparently, the OLs did it, but that's hearsay. They never caught anybody. So, but naturally, that's what they thought. So they put this underneath his truck. It was a mercury switch. As soon as he moved the truck, boom, it's going off.
That's some old mafia shit right there, bro.
Right. So on the other side of the building, they dropped a big container because it was a cabinet making place, and they throw all their wood, their shit wood, and all that stuff in there. When they dropped that container, it shook the ground, and the truck blew to pieces.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, it blew to pieces and stuff.
I think I remember that, actually. I think I remember that. I mean, I wasn't
yeah, and I'll tell you what really, really to this day still bothered me was, we'd be in a clubhouse, it'd be about 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning, and that dirty son of a bitch, man, he'd be standing like this. I got him right here. I guess he'd be standing there and he'd say, "Hey, PeeWee." I come over and he'd go, "Here, go start my truck. Go start my truck for me, And I'm thinking to myself, wow, man, I'm trying to get in this club and be a brother, and show my loyalty and stuff. You want me to go out and start your truck? If there's a bomb in it, I get blown up, you're okay. You know what I mean? I guess that's brotherhood.
Yeah, but see, here's the fucked up thing, though, is that, at that time, it's almost like it's you're programmed as it's your duty. Yeah, give me the keys, I'll go start the shit.
Yeah, but the whole time, though, I'm walking out to start the truck, I'm thinking, this is fucked,
Yeah, you're waiting for
This is fucked.
Yep.
Is this something you would do to your blood brother? Somebody in your family? Hey, go start. No, fuck no, you wouldn't do it. I go out there and start it. After about 3 starts I did on his truck, then he finally got an electric starter, where he just pushed a button and started it up.
Damn, bro. That's a fucked up way to live.
It is. And this is, I'm only telling you this shit because, I should have just stood up and said, you know what? Fuck this, man. This isn't, I was looking for a brotherhood. Because, I grew up, I had 3 sisters. I didn't have a brother.
Oh, dude.
And when I was in the centers, all of us guys, we were brothers. I'm still good brothers with some of those guys, but they're not in the club anymore. And we talk. I mean, the guys he got now are a bunch of queers, the guys he got now, they're just a bunch of suck asses. They're a bunch of punks. I seen them. I'd like to run into them, because I guess one of them told somebody I know, yeah, we see PeeWee, he's gonna get his lesson. Hey, bro, I don't get lessons. I give them,
Damn, bro. So how long have you been out? You've been out for 15 years, right?
15 years.
And you still get that? Man, you still get that after 15 years?
Oh, bro, I still get shit. I still get shit from the clubs we were warring with because my size, I can't blend in, I can't blend out. Let's face it, all right?
Yep.
And everybody goes, well, it doesn't help, bro, when you're doing all these podcasts. I said, hold on a minute. I waited till my book came out. And after I wrote my book, then I started doing some of the podcasts. I never said nothing, bro, for 14 years. Not one word. 14 years. And the other day I was talking to Mooch, who used to be a Mongol, and I was talking to Mooch, and he's the one who, he's the one that answered the question for me. He says, "PeeWee, how did you get closure on the club?" Because, bro, that's a big thing. A lot of these guys, when they get out of club, the first thing they do is call me, and I'm honored. So if they're watching this, I'm totally honored that you call me. And hey, I pick up right where I left off. "Hey, brother, how you been, man? What's going on?" And I could hear it in their voices, especially a guy who's been there for many, many years, I started out in 94, I told you, and I was still with him till 2010. So that's a long time, 15 years, and I just, I don't know, bro. When they call me, I'm honored that they call me. But I can tell in their voices, they don't have the closure. Like, they want to just talk about the club. And I just sit and listen. And I just tell them, I can give you a good example. This kid that came in the club probably in 2015. So I've been gone 5 years already. He reached out to me on Facebook and hit me up for a friend's request. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, hey, bro, I don't think, because I saw a picture of him, he had the big lightning bolts on his chest. I got him on my stomach, but he had him on his chest. I saw big giant Hell's Angels on him. So I'm thinking, why is this guy reaching out to me? And I said to him, hey, you might not want to talk to me, bro. He got me all bad. If you talk to me, you're gonna get tossed out of the club. He writes back, he goes, hey, bro, they already tossed me. Fuck it, And now the poor kid, he's fighting a court case, a total man of honor. He, he got shot by this other club, and then he rolled up on him and returned the favor, and they boot him out of the club and shit like that. And I mean, those are the kind of guys you're looking for, you know what I mean? Like straight up soldiers, to where you and I are standing with somebody that's new in the club, and I gotta look at you and say, what's this guy going to do? And you got to think about that. If you got to think about that, that guy shouldn't even be there.
I told you a story when we were talking the other day about it's just something off the record when I would go out and when my wife would be with me, and the respect that she got on how she would literally have an order of protection. She would be protected the entire time we'd be on. But to me, dude, that's the type of people I look for. Like if I'm out somewhere and my buddy has to step out and handle something, I guarantee you his wife is under my wing now. I guarantee I'm looking out for her best interest and that she's going to be safe,
right.
Because I need to know motherfuckers are going to do the same thing for me, that when I need to step away, that they're going to watch out for mine too. You know what I mean?
Right. But that, they tell us when we're prospecting stuff, we can't even bring your old lady around. She can't be around nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of these guys would like, they go home and they tell their wives everything, I mean, I had a guy, when I started the Vegas charter, after that's way down the line, but we had a guy in there named Phil. He'd go home and tell his old lady everything. She knew everything. And I was hearing it from these crackheads that lived in this trailer park, because she was a crackhead. And she'd go over there and smoke dope with these guys and tell them all this shit. And where I snapped, bro, is when I was in a grocery store in the morning, and she comes walking around the corner pushing a basket, the basket, for your groceries.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her, and she's wearing a Hell's Angel T-shirt. Death head, everything, the whole works. I grabbed her by the arm. I said, hey, bitch, what are you wearing his shirt for? And here's what she said to me. Oh, I just got out of bed. It was laying on the floor. It was filled, so I just picked up, put it on. It was like the only thing I had to wear. I said, you better leave this store right now before I rip this shirt off of you and you run out of here in your bra. Get the fuck out of the store, the store and go back and take that shirt off. Well, then I reamed Phil's ass, and I told him right there, I says, hey, man, you telling all your wife everything, your girlfriend? No, I think they were married. I said, you tell your wife everything, man. She's telling all these crackheads because it's coming back to me. And then somebody said something in the room. Hey, well, I want to bring up were these guys that we were looking for. And I stood up and said, whoa, I ain't talking about that, not in this room. And they go, what do you mean? I said, I'm not talking in a room with that guy over there sitting there, you know? Because I didn't trust him, bro. I already knew I couldn't trust him.
Those
He
are
had a big
labels.
mouth.
Yep. Yep.
And this was like, we're talking about like some serious shit, you know? And they all looked and they said, well, you don't trust him? And I said, no, I don't. And he stood up and he said, you don't trust me? And I said, no. So I stood up because I thought he wanted to bomb and I was ready to bomb on him, you know? And he stood up. He goes, well, then fuck it. I quit. Pulled his belt buckle and belt off, threw it on the table, took his shirt off, took his patch off. And I said, hey, man, I told the prospects outside, we had like 4 or 5 of them. I said, two, you guys take him down to the tattoo shop and cover up his tattoo. Because on the West Coast, man, they most of the charters, they make you get a tattoo like in 10 days after you make member.
Right.
They call it a skin patch, you know? And that's why when I went to jail, when I was in the county jail waiting to go to get on the bus and go to the prison, this young kid comes up to me, hey, brother, how you doing, man? I looked at him and I said, hey, man, don't come up here calling me brother. I don't even fucking know who you are. And he goes, oh, no, I'm an angel. I said, you are? And he goes, yeah, out of San Diego. I said, how long you been in the club? He goes, 2 years. I said, man, and this is in a Vegas jail, right? And I looked at him and I said, county jail, the one you always see on Jail, that show Jail,
Yes.
the one we always see with the blue doors, that's where I was. And
I love that show, buddy.
I said, I don't see any skin patch on you. Oh, you know what? I haven't had time to do it. And that's the reason why they do it. You know what I mean? Because think about this. Even if you're a cop undercover, you're not going to want to get that tattoo on you because you're a cop.
Yep.
So when they make you get that tattoo, you're already branded. It's like putting a brand on you, you know?
Yeah,
so
a rat ain't going to put the tattoo on.
Right. So I said, where's your tattoo? And he tells me, I haven't had time.
Oh.
Shit, they told me if I didn't have mine in 10 days, I'd back the prospect. So I just looked at him. I said, you're not in the club, bro. Don't come up to me. Don't fucking say, hey, brother, and all this shit, because you're a fucking liar, and I don't like liars, so beat it. And he was just, what it was is he was just a young kid. He was scared, you know what I mean, going to prison. Thought he would cling on to me or some shit. I've been in county jails and like 60, 90 days and stuff like that, but I never got a 2 to 5 in a penitentiary, and it was a maximum prison for a goddamn fish fight. It was all new to me, bro, and I was 57 years old.
And that's
you know?
that's a unique time just to go through that kind of process. I want to say something really quick though in regards when you were talking about being in the grocery store. I want to preface this because people really need to understand a couple different things here when he talks about the club life. You know, if you ever get talked to in a way and you think that you can and just fucking slap attitude and act like you ain't going to deal with certain shit, there's repercussions to certain behaviors in clubhouses. You know, the type of garment you wear, especially if you're not somebody who's authorized to wear certain garments, like this female in the grocery store, especially somebody who's so dangerous at the level she was, and with you already knowing what you knew, Pee-wee, he wasn't fucking joking, folks, when he says that she had one fucking choice: get out of that fucking store, or that shirt. I've seen people have their patches literally removed in front of hundreds of other people because of some kind of fucked up behavior. So that was real. And so when he told her that if you don't fucking leave, he wasn't fucking joking with her. That was as real as it gets, and you would have.
Right, and you know, she was always kind of like, even when she would come around, bro, she was kind of like a smart ass, you know what I mean? Like when she come around, she was kind of cocky and shit, so I really didn't care for her anyway, but out of respect, like you said, I tried to do the best I could, being the best brother I could.
Yep.
So I would show your old lady the respect she deserved because she was your old lady.
Yeah.
If I didn't like her or not, I would never say nothing like that. I would just show her respect.
Right.
And the guys, like there's guys now, you know, that call me and talk to me, and some of them, you know, like there's only like 1 or 2, you know, that even in the club I had like nothing really to do with them. It was like this: oh, hey, what's up, man? What's up, bro? That's it. I didn't go out of the way, and I believe in that honesty thing, you know, and I tell people, this is exactly what I tell them. when you came around, I would tell you, listen, bro, you want to be in this club? Are you ready? You may be killed. You may have to kill somebody, or you may go to prison. And if you can't lie, cheat, or steal. And a lot of them would say, what do you mean cheat? You can't fuck around with anybody's old lady, girlfriend, mistress, whore, whatever it is. You know? I beat the shit out of a guy in Frisco, man, just because, you know, he just started groping on, we're up at the Redwood Run. And I picked up a girl that was, she was in a hot tub, but she actually was like coming on to me. She worked at the chicken ranch, you know? And her boyfriend was laying on a lawn chair up there, and she was like all over me and stuff. So I thought, you know, her boyfriend stands up and says, come on, we're going, babe. And as he's folding the towels, I told her, hey, you're going to finish what you started. So I gave her my room number. That night she showed up, and we did. And then when she was when she was laying down,
What?
yeah, bro, when she was laying down, this other brother come in, and there was another guy in the room that said, hey, it was a prospect from Sacramento. He didn't make it in the club, but he was all right in my book, you know?
Yeah.
But he said, hey, Pee-wee, you mind if I hit that or whatever? I said, yeah, go ahead, you know?
Damn.
I mean, I can't remember her name. I didn't care, you know? But then this other guy comes in, and he was a guy I really didn't care for, like I was telling you. He got his patch. He got his patch because of the Laughlin shooting, and I know you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're going to know the guy because if you saw the tapes when they show you the tapes, remember a big heavy Mexican looking dude? He's standing there like dancing around by these chairs, but he ain't doing nothing. He's just kind of like whoa, 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 like that. That was him. And they said, hey, we want to bring him up, give him his patch. You know, he saved lives. And I go, how? Dancing? He didn't do anything, man. I didn't see him do anything. There's a lot of Hell's Angels I seen in that, and there was clips of that fight that were running for cover. I mean, laying down. Then I saw the Warriors out there getting down, you know, taking care of business. Them are the kind of guys I like, and that's the kind of guys I like around me, bro.
Me too, bro. Seriously.
Because I'm one of those guys. I'd have been running right in there. I probably would have been the first one shot. But my friend JP was. But I'm just telling you, man, bullets were flying in there. I wasn't there. I was in jail in Sturgis.
Damn, man.
So I wasn't there for that shootout. But they gave that guy his patch because he was just standing there protecting some members who were hiding under the table or wherever they were doing. So that's the reason I didn't like him. So when he came up there, he said, hey, can I crash for a couple hours and I'm going to hit the road? I said, sure. He started groping her, pissed me off. I just said, I didn't care. But it's a respect thing, like you just said before. It's all about respect. So I would say to you, hey, brother, do you mind if and you'd say, hey, like the prospect did, right? He didn't do that. He just did whatever he wanted to do. So when I got done, I told them both, get the fuck out of here, both of you. Yep. And I said, you and me going to talk when we have church. So that week when we met for church, I said, hey, you disrespected me, you know what I mean, in that room by not asking me. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I should have. You're right, I should have asked. I said, well, because I didn't like him, I said, no, it's too late for that. And then, you know, put him up. And he's like, oh, come on, Pee-wee, man, it ain't like that. I said, put it up, man. I said, put him up. You're going to get blasted. And he goes, I don't want to fight with you over some chicken. Wham! I laid one in his face, you know, and it was on.
Yep.
And I pounded him pretty good. I mean, man, I hit him with a punch, and I hit him at, he ducked down. I hit him in the back of the head, and I hit this bone right here on your wrist.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That son of a bitch was so big sticking out the side. I was like, holy shit.
Damn.
But I felt better up in the meeting, you know. We're all sitting like this at the meeting. I look over, he's got a big bag of ice on his face, you know.
And problem
And
solved.
I got him back.
Yeah, problem.
But that's what it's all about, bro. It's all about respect. And I had those certain brothers that I love like that. Mm-hmm. I would jump in front of a bullet for you.
Right.
Because that's how strongly in my heart I felt. So if you knew that I felt that way about you, and if you were my blood brother, which I think you as that, you'll know it, because this is what I would say to you. We'd hang up and I'd say, all right, later, bro, I love you.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it because it's just a word. It's what I mean in my heart. I felt, hey, I love you, brother, later, you know.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it to all of them because I didn't feel that way with all of them, you know. So
So what got
that
you,
brotherhood thing's a big thing with me.
dude? I tell you, I found myself multiple times. I have a brother too, and he kind of fights with that. We all come from the same fucking place, it's so it seems like there's a track record in life of disappointment when you're in that kind of search. Because you have your expectation and you're trying to at least find somebody to at least meet you in the middle on that, right? And to live by certain standards and certain codes, and a lot of people don't know that anymore, brother. They just don't
No.
fucking know what codes are. It's just like I told people all the time. I says, I was always told all my life to change, to come up into this fucking world, this whole corporate suits, and this is where the good people are, right? So you go through this process, and the only thing I fucking learned, bro, is that there's just as many, if not more, criminals that wear suits than there is where I come from.
Right.
Criminals don't change just the fucking clothes they wear do.
Right, you're right. You're so right.
I find myself more and more isolated the older I get because it's harder and harder to find people that you can sit and open up and talk about certain fucking things.
Right.
Enjoy a cigar with them, and like you says, when the fucking conversation's over, it's a hug. I love you, brother, and I'll see you again. It's hard to
That
find.
was perfect when you said the cigar. I love smoking cigars.
Yeah, man.
I never smoked a cigarette ever, but I'll smoke cigars.
It's my way.
But,
It's my way of breaking bread. I mean, it's how I break bread with people, man. I give them a good cigar, and we just sit and we just talk about life, man. Talk about some scars. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was telling you about when these guys call me, man. Rocky, they don't have that closure. They'll be like, well, hey, bro, the club, they did me wrong. They fucked me, and I'll tell you what they did to me. And I let them tell me, and I hear the whole story and stuff. Well, hey, I got fucked too, man. They fucked me out of 80 grand in a building at Sturgis. $80,000 is a lot of money. And do I hate them as a whole? No, I hate the individual people that were in business with me. Those are the ones I hate. But when I first got out, you got to remember, when I first got out, bro, I was one who traveled the world. I mean, I've been in 14 continents. I went to all the world runs. I went to the world meetings. I sat in there and, listened to the shit going on. And so, I mean, I was what I put in the book, a shaker. You know what I mean? Like the old Cool Hand Luke, shaking that bush, boss, shaking it. I was a shaker and a mover. So it was funny when Mooch asked me, PeeWee, how did you get closure on it? And I had to sit there and think a minute, Rocky. I was thinking, I don't really know. I mean, I'm over it. I'm way over it. It's been years, but I'm like, well, how did I get over it? And he answered it for me. He said, do you think it was when you wrote your book? I said, you're right, it is. When I wrote that book about my feelings, and it's from the heart, and the best part about it is, if you know me, like talking to me now, and you read the book, bro, you get the book, you read it, people, this is the first thing they say. I could hear you, PeeWee, talking. When I read the book, it's you. That's why when I wrote the book and I sent it, and for the editor to look at it, and they raped me over the coals. The first batch of books I got, I mean, they charged me $3,000 just for editing the book. And the guy, he says something to me like, well, it seems like you're all over in the book. Well, I started writing the book in about 2009 when I was in the club. So I had to go back and change it all to where I was saying, me and Rocky, we did this. We were members. I had to take that out because I'm not a member anymore. So I had to change it. So
Yes,
maybe it did. And then, every once in a while when you're writing too, bro, I never wrote a book before. And I did it on a keyboard, do my own book, changing it, spell checking. So, yeah, bro, it took me a while. And at first, I was doing ding, 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 ding. Now I can kind of like boom, 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 over the numbers a little better, and over the letters, I mean. And
dude, do you want to hear a crazy story? The first book I ever read in my life, dude. I'm not glorifying this at all. But the first time I ever read a book when I was fucking locked up at 19 years old, man, I was so fucking bored. I was so fucking
That's how
bored.
I read too.
So you just start fucking reading, and then you actually
Right.
remember what you fucking read. That's the weirdest shit. I remembered it. You know what I mean?
The first book I read, I was 57.
Dude. I was fucking first. People are like, hey, no, I never graduated, but the first book I ever read was after that when I was in jail. People are like, what? Yeah, that's the
Do you
truth.
remember the book? What was the book?
The Celestine Prophecies.
Wow.
Dude, it was like it was weird. It was kind of like a spiritual frequency, type of. I'm like that. And then, dude, when I got out, the entire stint, everything together was about 2.5. And when I got out, the first thing I fucking did, dude, I was still locked up, and I had to get a judge's permission to go try out for the semi-professional football team in the Minneapolis fucking Lumberjacks, dude. And so I went to try out for the Lumberjacks wearing a fucking prison bracelet, bro. You know what I'm saying? And this was in South Minneapolis at I can't remember what park it was at. Just beat up as fuck. The yard, the fucking field was rocks, and it's South Minneapolis. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I made the fucking team. I made the fucking team while I was still locked up in fucking jail. So I got out and went right to playing semi-pro football and started DJing at the KOD. Yeah, dude, that was literally the best thing that ever happened to me.
What year was that? What year was that?
That would have been, I think, 95, 96. Somewhere right around 95, 96. No, maybe a little longer. Maybe 97-ish. Dude, I can't fucking remember. 90.
Because I remember that semi-pro team in Minnesota. Because when I was in Wisconsin, I played semi-pro football for Racine Gladiators.
Dude, we might have played.
You know what I mean?
We might have played you.
Yeah, and we played like guys in Indianapolis, guys from Gary, Indiana.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, did you ever? There was Rainey's Bar on Payne Avenue. That's where my dad hung out, Gary Stucci. But Rainey's Bar with Mike Rainey, they had a fucking football team that they just organized, just a bunch of the fucking drinkers, and they went and played the prisoners, dude, the Stillwater fucking prisoners in the prison yard.
Wow.
That wasn't professional football, bro. That was gladiator motherfucking football. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
remember in Minneapolis there, BJ's Kitty Bar?
Dude, it's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is still there.
I mean, I don't know
Well,
why I
after-
that, but I'm just saying.
After every meeting, after we have a meeting, we all go there. We'd all go there. Every night we had a meeting. I was thinking, man, if you ever wanted to kill any of us, that was our routine. If you drove by and saw all the bikes and us walking around the prospects, man, we had like 6 of us then. And I don't know, there's probably 12 members in there or whatever. So when we all get out in the pack, woo, right to BJ's.
You know, it's funny because when I was talking to PeeWee the other day, he brought up another place there because I lived in the same area he was at, and it was one of the bars there on the east side of St. Paul that, as a little 19-year-old little punk ass little bitch boy, you know what I'm saying? I was doing security at the place where the local club there in St. Paul was having their fucking day at church, and then after church they came to Peppercorns.
Peppercorn, yeah.
When you told me that, bro, I almost passed out my damn chair when you told me Pepper. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you know how many times I passed out on those pool tables? You know what I'm saying?
He had some cool bands. He had cool bands in there all the time.
Yeah, man, it was a great.
I mean, I saw some bands in there that were like, I know the one he had in there that was a Led Zeppelin cover band thing. Man, they sounded just like Led Zeppelin. And then they had another band in there called, I'm probably wrong on this one. I think it was called like Sled Dogs or something. I got a CD from them. They gave me a CD. And they became famous. They became pretty famous. But at the end, they all sat up there and were playing acoustic guitars, no drums, nothing.
That shit, man.
And they did the baddest Hard Luck Woman by Kiss. It was bad as shit, man, and I was sitting there like, God damn, they play some good music,
St. Paul
He
had
hired good bands.
Yeah, dude, that was one thing I do remember, man, is when that place would just get packed. It would just get packed.
What about a place called Waldo's? Remember Waldo's or no?
Mm-mm.
That was right down the street from Minneapolis Custom Cycles. I know we'd go there, and I can't remember the other place. He used to go there and get all the pull tabs and shit. It was I can't remember the name of it, like 702 or
Minneapolis bar.
Yeah, it was some Minneapolis bar. There's only 3 bars they would go to, bro, like nonstop, or all like the same goddamn bars,
Routine, man. People love routine. They
That's
just-
why, so many times being shot at, on the freeway, I could hear this pop, pop behind me. I turn back and I look. I see this guy hanging out with a rifle, shooting at me. So I started white lining, down the road, getting in front of traffic with, and I lost him. But there were so many times, that shit. So I never, after that, I never went like the same way home. You know what I mean? I'd always go different routes. I never did made anything routine.
Yeah,
And it was so bad.
a lot of
Rocky
people,
was so bad back then.
dude.
We had to go out every morning, check our car with a mirror for a bomb under it. Fucking nuts.
And that was in St.
People
Paul.
don't know the half of it.
Yeah, that was the Minneapolis HA, right? That's the Minneapolis.
Yeah.
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 So then you ended up going down to Vegas, dude. Now Vegas is something I'm kind of familiar with at the Italian side of things, but you became the president down at the.
I started them. I left San Francisco and I went to Vegas. I said, we need a charter there. We had one in Reno, but them guys don't do anything or go anywhere, Yeah, they're like their guys were all like there was some club before us, some I don't know, clown club or whatever it was. But then they became Hell's Angels up there, and the guys who were running that thing up there, they thought like their shit didn't stink when they showed up at places. And I mean, they weren't about nothing. When they were in Sturgis selling T-shirts, and shit was going to go down, first thing they did, whoop, Houdini, man, they disappeared. So I never really had respect for them. But, I mean, there were some brothers in there that I did, and they're gone now. But the ones they have now, I have no respect for. But I said, we need a charter in Vegas. So I got the 6 guys, and we started the charter in Vegas. And it was going okay, but naturally, the number one fucked up thing was this, and I was like, man, I was done with that. Fuck that shit. So I kept trying to bring it up because everything you got to vote on.
Yeah.
And I wrote in my book, I said, you know what? They believe in that one man, one vote. That's all bullshit. That's not really how it works. They say that you have your own opinion in the Hells Angels, and they don't have a national president like all the other clubs do. They don't have that. If you're a president, Reggie, you're a president of your charter in Minnesota, and I was over in Vegas. We see each other, hey, man, we shoot the shit, you know what I mean? But you're a president, I'm a president. And you really can't even tell your guys what to do. You really just run the meetings. But, like, if I told a member, hey, go get me a drink, they, fuck you. I mean, really, you didn't have that power that you think you did.
Yep.
And, like in my book, I said, you actually needed that. Not that, even as prospects, I never, ever asked the prospect to get me a drink. I didn't believe in it. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it when I did it, so I wouldn't do it to you. And I got in quite a few fights over that, bro, when they're asking me to get them drinks. They're yelling, prospect! And I just totally ignored them, right? So they came up to me and they go, hey, you fucking hear me calling you? I said, no, I didn't hear you call me, man. I didn't hear my name. I didn't hear you say PeeWee or Charlie, my real name.
Oh.
I never heard you call me.
Yep.
He said I was yelling prospect. I went, oh, that's why you didn't hear me. That's why I didn't hear you, And he says, well, aren't you a fucking prospect? And I said, yeah. But I said, I'm over here serving drinks, man. I'm busy. Can't you see? And I thought I could, like looking at you, I'm looking at your face. When you're standing there, bro, you can see somebody's hands.
Yeah. I
see his fist ball up. He's getting ready to go. I've been boxing since I was 11 years old.
was going to bring that up, yeah.
And I won this in 1993, the super heavyweight MMA kickboxing thing.
Super heavyweight. Super fucking
Right, super heavyweight.
Listen to this.
Super heavyweight. So I said, I looked at him, I said, don't think about it, man. And next thing you know, his shoulder goes back and bam, I set one off like a rocket in his face. And he's laying on the ground snoring. Even the members lean over the bar and they look at me, they laugh, and they go, God damn, PeeWee, you knocked him right the fuck out. Because nobody really went to rock and roll.
Yep.
And then when I shook him and woke him up, he was a 10-year member. I woke him up and I said, hey, bro, next time, just ask PeeWee, Charlie, whatever, I'll get you a drink. You need a drink now? What do you want?
Yeah. Did you need
nothing. He just walked away. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, he quit the club.
Oh, that hurt him, dude. That hurt you. You took what little man he had left in him, And when you
Yeah.
put that in front of for being a 10-year member and for him to get dropped like that, bro, you know what I'm saying? That
Well, he dropped himself. He quit. He probably just thought, fuck it, man, you know. But that's the one thing I got to say I did like about, you know, I did like about the Hells Angels is once you become a prospect, you got just about as many rights, but you can't vote. That's it. But you can pretty much do what the members can do, but you can't vote, and you know you can't like be in meetings and shit like that. But if a president came up to you and said, "Hey, I got a problem with you motherfuckers," starts going off on you, you stand back and say, "Put them up, man." You could dust them.
Yep.
Which you know was fun for me because I was dusting everybody, you know. So I was like, "Hey, this is going to be fun," you know. When I beat this one guy up in Vegas, he walked in our clubhouse. He's a member. He was a 10-year member too, and he walked in. It must be me with 10-year members or something. And this guy walks in the clubhouse, and I knew he was doing the shit. And we had him 86th on it for 90 days.
Yep.
He didn't last 3 days. He was doing it.
Fuck.
So when he walked in, I says, "Hey, I'm going to bring you up for your patch today." And he says to me, "You know what? If you think you're half the man you think you are, fucking put him up." And he puts his fist up like this. Because, you know, he was in the special forces and the military.
Okay.
He thought he was Billy Badass. So I put my hands up. I said, "Let's go." I used his head like a heavy bag and a speed bag all put into one. He went flying across the table, went flying into tables and chairs, bleeding from every crevice in his face. Never hit me once yet. And I'm bing, 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 bing. I'm stinging him with all these combinations. And somebody yells out, "Come on, Pee-wee. Give the guy a break or a chance." I said, "What do you want me to do? Lay on the floor and let him kick me in the face or something?" I said, "Listen, he picked a fight with a boxer. He's getting a boxing lesson for free." And, bro, when I was done, I got to say, he broke the bone in my hand right here on the corner of my hand. It's called a boxing fracture.
Yep.
I hit him with an uppercut and I broke it. I felt it break. But I knew I still had to go on. You know what I mean? So I had my hands up. But he was already on his fours, bleeding all over the floor. And then I grabbed his patch. I pulled it off. I said, "You're done. You're out of here."
Oh, shit.
And some of the guys, you know, were like, "Hey, come on." I said, "Hey, anybody else want to go? I'm ready. Let's go." It would have killed me with my hand, but I still would have fought. Nobody else wanted to fight, you know?
Damn, dude.
And this poor bastard, I broke his cheekbone, his eye socket, broke his nose, closed both of his eyes. He couldn't see when he stood up. He was doing the old Stevie Wonder thing, you know? And his nose was bleeding. He had cuts all over his face. Oh, and I knocked the tooth out of his mouth. And he stood up, and I took his patch. I said, "You're out of here." I only had a shirt on, like I told you. I ripped that off of him and took his belt buckle. So when he walked out of there, he's pretty badly fucked up. I told the prospects, take him up and cover him up, cover all his tattoos up.
Oh.
And then I gave this other prospect sandpaper, and he went out and sanded his death heads off his gas tanks. But
That's real shit, dude. That's real business.
yeah, it was real deal shit, bro. And it was like shit I had to do to keep everybody in line, to keep them doing what they're doing. And this is what I mean by when I say, I hate to use this word, but it's the only word we can use, dictator, okay? So you got to have a guy. I came from the Sinners, and we had that rule, you know, where we had a national boss and the bosses. And that's the only way it works, Rocky. It really does. Is like, I'm not saying for something stupid like me to say, "Hey, Rocky, get your ass out there and cut that grass and shit." Oh no, bro, that's bullshit. The prospects can cut the grass.
It's a checks and balance thing. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
when you have that hierarchy, it's always going to make the person underneath them second guess their decisions because they may have to answer to some motherfuckers upstairs. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And when we would get together for the West Coast OMs, officer meetings,
Yep.
they'd have guys running it, but they weren't like presidents or anything. But one guy was running it, like the chairman of the board. Then they have a treasurer. Then they have a secretary taking the notes, which was from my charter. He was a 30-year member, and he was taking all the notes. and then I think they'd have a sergeant of arms, in case anybody got stupid in there.
Yeah.
And that's all they were for the West Coast meetings. Then the East Coast had their meetings, and they had their thing. And a couple times I was on the East Coast, and I would sit in on one of their OMs. I never say nothing because it wasn't my place,
Yeah.
but I just got to sit in on the meetings. And they were basically the same. They're both. It didn't matter. They were the same. But just
So,
the
bro,
lack of disrespect, as I seen it going, bro, like what we said we were going to talk about on the show, the lack of brotherhood and respect is what I saw leaving the club. I'm used to hearing about how cool the Hells Angels were back in the 60s and the 70s. They paved the way. Come on, man. I lived in a town that was all outlaws, and I didn't even know about the outlaws until I got much older. But even as a little kid, I knew what a Hells Angel was.
yeah.
And, to me, when everybody said, why don't you just stay, and become an outlaw? And I had some pretty good friends of mine that were outlaws. And I just said, hey, it wasn't for me. I didn't want to be one of those guys. I wanted to be at the top of the food chain, man, all around the world. And listen, if I would have joined the Hells Angels, how would I have went to like Italy, Switzerland, Austria, London, Portugal, Turkey? I went to Turkey 3 times. I was in Holland 6 times, London, Belgium,
All business.
Luxembourg.
All business going in with other club members out there and going to clubs out there.
Yeah, parties, bro. I would go out for parties or world meetings or a world run.
Wow.
And, oh man, everybody offers you a bike if you want to ride.
Yep.
But everything's different. Like the streets are switched. You're on the other side. I couldn't figure out it's not like our stop signs. They just got like a little red dot on the. I would have been blowing through them, bro. It was horrible. No cops, because they got things on poles there.
That's right.
And all of a sudden we'd be jamming. You'll see it, ploop, you'll see it flash.
Oh, that's
Takes a picture of you. I don't know how it got the bike's license plate, but it did. And we were there in a car, and the member I had driving the car was in my name. And I was sleeping in the front seat like this, and he's flying. And one time he's flying, I said, hey, did you see that camera go off? I said, you better slow down, man. You get a speeding ticket. He said, there's no way to get the plate number. Bro, I got 7 tickets in the mail back in Las Vegas.
Oh.
From Holland, from Amsterdam. And it was, honest to God, you got to remember, bro, it was in euros. So $50 American money is, 50 euros is like $80 American. That's the difference of the money. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you.
Man, I'll be fucked up going over there.
Right, bro. I gave him $500. I said, exchange that into euros. And I got 260 back in euros.
Holy shit.
So I just lost $200 right off the get-go.
What the?
Or 140.
Holy
Yeah, that's
shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not going. Dude, I'm not going.
So, you know what I mean? Because when you get over to the red light district, man, those girls are like $50 for, you know what I mean? 50 euros. They won't even take American money. Your money is garbage to them.
No shit, dude. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
your money's garbage to them.
They charge 50 euros, huh? So $30 a pop.
Yeah.
$30 a pop. That's not bad, dude. That's not bad.
Well, 80 bucks American.
Oh, 80 American. Oh.
Yeah, and 50 euros their money, you know? So 260, you go through it pretty quick. It depends on how many times you hit the red light district.
I was going to say, that's a half an hour, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a half an hour.
Yep.
Shit. All right, so let me ask you, man. When did you feel like you were starting to disconnect? Was it earlier in the year?
I'd say right about, I'm going to say like 2007, we were on a run here in the town I live now in Arkansas. A couple banditos went by, and they were banditos I knew. I knew the one guy real good. I was good friends with him. Matter of fact, he called me on a cell phone. He says, "PeeWee, this is Crash. Why don't we meet up for a drink?" He's passed away now. And I said, "Oh, man, Crash." I said, "It's bad timing, you know, because Europe, the Banditos and Hells Angels were going at it big time. So when I went to the world meeting, the other Europe, that part of the world, said, listen, Pee-wee, take back to the United States to stay out of this. We're going to handle this in Europe alone. Don't make this a world thing. And I said, you sure about that? Yeah, that's the way we want it. So, we come back, we tell them, hey, they don't want us involved. So we weren't at war with the bandits in America. And I'm going to tell you this, I found out something later that was crazy, was the patch that the Banditos wear here in America is different than the one in Europe. They changed theirs here not to be affiliated with Europe. Because when I talked to their national president, who was a very good friend of mine, he's doing life in prison now, his name is Jeff, they took over a whole Bandito charter and they had all the patches and they wanted to give them back to the United States guys. So I called Jeff up and I said, hey, they'll fly us out there first class. They will, you and me. I said, they want to personally hand them to them, out of respect. And I says, they'll show us a good time, bro. It'll be like endless fun. You want to do it? And I couldn't believe it. He says, no, bro, we don't even get along with the Europe guys. Our patches aren't even the same. And I go, what? So I didn't even know this. And I said, I didn't know that. And he goes, yeah, ours has changed a little bit. We made it different. And we don't really get along with the Europe guys. So, I'm not going to take off work to go. I take off work a lot. And he says, so I'm not going to take off work and fly over there with you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the respect. But you could tell those guys they can burn them or do whatever they want with those patches. That's what he told me.
Shit.
So I think they burned them. But
did you want to go?
Yeah, I wanted to go with him because I liked him. You know what I mean?
Guess what, dude? You know what? If I would have been around, I promise you, I would have went with you. I'm just saying. I don't care.
Right, and I wanted to go. I wanted to go with Jeff because I liked his company, and I thought him and me could just ran around and had a good time, But it would have been crazy because him being the national president of America, it would have been kind of crazy, bro, because they're still fighting with the Banditos in Europe, and then all of a sudden there he is, hanging around with us.
Was there any suspicion? Was there any suspicion in regards to them wanting to give you guys the patches back, or what? It was legitimate.
It was legitimate. It was legitimate because I knew the guys who were doing it, and they were doing it from their heart.
Yep.
And when I went to visit Luxembourg, which I didn't even know was a country, bro. My whole life, I didn't know this. Little tiny country. And naturally, it was the first country Germany took over when they started taking, then they took Poland and everything else. But we went to Luxembourg, went to their clubhouse. They had a cool clubhouse. They took me down in the basement, and it was the Banditos that started up in Luxembourg. They shut them down. And I go downstairs, and I see the cooler, and I see it says Banditos on it, and they had the little fat Mexican on there. And then they had all these patches in the boxes and shit. And these aren't the ones I'm telling you about before that they want to give us. This is a new batch. And they had all this tattoo equipment because they had a tattoo shop. They closed it down. They took their shit.
Holy shit.
Took all their booze. It's all in the basement. I says, what are you going to do with all this shit? And they said, we don't know. They didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do with it. But
yeah, they went in confidence.
I was just like, well, I don't really get involved. I didn't like to get involved in that kind of shit because it was like catch-22, because I had good friends that were Banditos in America, and I never really met one in Europe. So I'll tell you a funny story. One of the I guess two packs of them ran into each other on the highway, and they were brawling right on the fucking freeway, getting down. And one of the angels got chopped in the leg by a hatchet. One of the bandits hit him in the leg with a hatchet. And the hatchet was sticking in his leg. He didn't want to pull it out because he was afraid he'd bleed out. It was stuck in his leg. When the paramedics got there, I talked to him. And he says, yeah, he goes, the paramedics come. They say, what happened? Who hit you with, the cops wanted to know, who hit you with the hatchet? He said, nobody. I fell on it. Bro, I just about shit my pants laughing. He says, I fell on it. And they pulled it out of his leg, and his artery, man, was open, bleeding, and they
So he
stopped
knew.
it.
Yeah, he knew. He knew that if he
But he
would
was
hold it.
solid. He didn't say, yeah, one of those guys. And yeah, he was solid. He just said, I fell on it. But yeah, I really don't know how their situation is with those guys now. I really don't know because I've been so out of touch with it.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's a personal thing for me, and this is something that I've accumulated as I evolved in life, over the years. It's just the one thing that breaks my heart the most, man, is that one thing I've learned is that whatever border and I know I don't want to fringe and cross any lines here and lifestyles, but I just wish that a line or a color, because so many people were the same people. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Oh, yeah.
I could go to Wisconsin and see an OL, or I could go to Minnesota and see an AHA. And if you took those leathers off and then you went to the bar with these guys, you would never be able to tell the difference. You get what I'm saying? And I just wish,
Right.
as a unit,
I,
as a power,
and I'm gonna tell you right now, right? I got this page, right? It's a private page. It's called Brothers for Life. And when I first started it, it was before I went to prison. I was in prison 2014, 15, 16. So I started it in about maybe 2012, 2013. I started it. I called it Group 51 because they always say 81 first letter HA. Yep. So instead of putting 81, I put 51. The fifth letter is E. And so it'd be X Angels. You know what I mean? And I had 53 guys in the group, 53.
no shit.
And it was going good. And then I went to prison and it fell apart. I came back, there was only like 13, 14 guys. I said, what the fuck, So I want to start it up again. But instead of calling it Group 51, I thought, you know what I should do? Because when I was in prison, they put me in a unit that had they call it a dropout unit. It's all ex-gang members, right? As they call it.
Yep.
So I was in there. There was like 2 outlaws in there. There's a couple of Vagos. There was a Hessian, a Sons of Silence, Bloods, Crips, Serenos, Norteños, Paisans. Bro, they were all in there, man. I can't even remember them all, okay? So it was a dropout unit, so I would see all these guys. And we all got along great. So I thought to myself, when I get out of here, I'm going to start a group, and I'm going to accept everybody, and there should be no reason that we have animosity among each other because we're not wearing that thing on our back anymore. So in my group, bro, I got like XL for Steros, I got ex-sinners that I was in a group with. I think probably 80% XL's Angels. I had a couple outlaws in there, but they seemed to drop out over, after a while. They never really said anything anyway, but they dropped out. And then I got like 3 or 4 pagans. I got probably like 4 or 5 banditos in there.
Dude, seriously though, think about the power behind this. Think about the messages behind that. Think about the stories and the education and the real life fucking. I mean, dude, that could be a. I mean, this sounds. I'm going way off the tangent here, but I mean, I could see a group of you guys showing up to places and speaking to youth and kids and just being just like,
Right.
Dude, when I say people when they go, I've been to treatment 7 times. Dude, I love partying, bro. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love it. And I always tell people, man, I says, you got to be really fucking careful because for some reason we think that when we make these changes or we go into treatment that we're going to walk out and all our fucking shit's forgiven. It's just like, no, the same motherfuckers that are out there that you owed money to when you went in are waiting for you when you get out.
Right.
So, I always, at these treatment centers, they're not preparing people psychologically. So when people go out of treatment, the first fucking controversy they run into, they get all fucking stressed out. So what's the first thing they do when they get stressed out? They go hit up whatever they're going to fucking hit up, right? And
Right.
And it's about that preparation thing. So people give me shit all the time because I talk about a lot of my experiences in life, and I have no fucking shame in it, dude. It's actually helped me heal a lot of that shit. But it's just like, if people think I'm humiliating myself, they're kind of a piece of shit for thinking that because there are people out there that are broken and miserable and in dark places that need to hear
Right.
motherfuckers like us that we existed and we survived shit, and so can they. And bro, you got a powerful message, and the way that you unify people, dude, that's powerful, man. That's powerful.
And you know the cool thing about Rocky, seriously, all of us on there, the pagans, the bandito guys, all of us, when we talk on there, like if you were in a club, I add you to the group.
Yep.
First thing you do, I say, hey man, I'm having a good brother here. You know, he was with so and so. His name is Joe Schmo, and all of them guys. The guys are great, man. They all put welcome brother, welcome brother, welcome brother. Every one of them. And bro, there's 147 of them in that group.
So I was the VP for a small club in Wisconsin called the Kindred. So I qualify,
I've
bro.
heard of
I'm
them.
saying for the fucking record, I qualify. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sign me up for the group. I'm in the group. I'm in. I mean, I'm coming in and talking a bunch of shit. Let's do it, bro.
Right. Right.
All right, brother. So we got. Let me see. I was just looking at that. We got like 8 minutes before we end the second hour, and I don't even feel like we even started talking, man. Because shit. I mean, we could have did a 3-hour show the other day when we were talking on the phone. You know.
Oh yeah.
But
I think the main thing here that we got to get out of this, Rocky, is where these young guys came in and they have no respect for the older guys. And now since I left the club, it's even worse, bro. It's worse. These young guys who come in, they don't respect the older guys who paved the way for them. And when I say that, because I see them throwing out, like, I'm not going to mention their names, but they're good brothers. I love both of them. But there was one that like had 51 years in. He ran him down the road.
Damn.
Another guy that had 52, 53 years, and another guy that had 56 years in. And then they threw him out for making a phone call, calling a guy out bad. And this guy gave his whole life to the club. I mean, he was the club. I mean, I have ultimate respect for him, and I still do. So that's how things are changing. You can see what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
It's changing. I would have probably quit. Like soon as I seen this shit more because I wasn't feeling it. You know, I wasn't feeling that love. I wasn't feeling like when we got together, it was fake. It was all fake.
Yeah.
And I didn't come up with that name for my book, Rocky. I didn't come up with it. I told you before. An ex-Hell's Angel walked up to me, had all of his tattoos that he had on his neck, I said, all lasered off. And I said, boy, you had all that shit lasered off? And he goes, I don't want anything to do. I'm getting married. I don't want anything to remind me of that club. He goes, did you still writing that book, Pee-wee? And I said, yeah. And I was out. I was out already when he ran into me. It was at a drag strip. We're watching the top fuel cars go. And he said, I got a good name for it. I said, what is it? Brotherhood. Greatest lie ever told. I said, bro, I'm going to use it. That's what I used.
Dude,
Because I tell in the book, you know, I had so many brothers that wore wires on me trying to, like, get me for shit. And, you know, they're in witness protection today. And if anybody should hate the club, even for I don't hate the club itself. I was proud to be a Hell's Angel. I really was, you know. And it was probably one of the greatest times of my life. I don't regret it. I mean, I think it's pretty shitty that they burned me on the building, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then they ran around calling me a rat that they had, you know. There's no paperwork. My paperwork's clean, bro. So after people read my paperwork, they stopped calling me rat. But then you got all these dickhead supporters out there, you know, that they don't give two shits about. They'll sell you a T-shirt, bro, and they'll find out you got your head opened up like a tomato at an event by another club because you were wearing that shirt. Do you really think they're going to help you or they're going to go do it? They'll look at you like, hey, you want to buy another shirt?
Yeah.
Because they ripped yours off. They'll sell you another shirt, but they don't give two fucks about you.
Right.
But yet those are the guys that go on these podcasts that make comments. Hey, that guy's a rat. Fuck that guy. And they're nobodies. They're supporters that are still, you know, sucking that big weenie, you know?
I hate when people just throw fuel on the fire like that. It's just some shit you can you know.
I do too.
All right, so that's what I want to bring up because I want everybody listening, whether you're listening to the podcast, whether you're watching the video of us, and I know we're sexy as shit, so ladies, calm down, okay? Just I understand though, I get it. But his book, it's the Brotherhood, Greatest Lie Ever Told. All the links are going to be right here. Everything's going to be right here in the articles, in the show descriptions, everywhere you are watching this show, whether it's a reel, whether it's a video, a short term, long form, short form. you will find the link for the book. And I'm asking each and every one of you to go on, click the link, and get the book and help support a brother out, man, because I understand the world, man. And my whole life has been fucking disappointment. And when I talk about this, I'm talking about in search of. I'm 51 years fucking old, man, and I'm still in. If I talked about real brotherhood, man, I probably can count them on one fucking hand. And I know people all over the fucking world. You know, it's incredible, and it seems things change as we get older, and it seems what we want seems, you know, on the surface it would be something so simple, but it seems to be the hardest thing to fucking find, bro. You know what I'm saying? This
Right.
a brother to tell you he loves you, man, and that's all we need is a big fucking
You
mind.
hit it right on the head, brother.
We just need that one person. So, yeah, man. So go to CharliePeeWeeGoldsmith.com, CharliePeeWeeGoldsmith.com. Order his fucking book, or I'm coming out looking for your shit, okay? I'm just going to tell you right now, all right? So,
Thanks, bro.
hey, brother, any other last words before we... And I want to tell you something, man. Anything you need from a production side, you are looking at the master of all fucking trades when it comes to media, bro. So I am going to publicly on the show offer any help that you need on anything. I want to continue your efforts on your messages and your groups, anything you need, man. I love the hell out of you, bro. I appreciate you. And you have an open platform.
We could do this again sometime.
This is your platform too, brother. You got Stucci Media. We got a huge distribution center. You ever want to come on and just shoot the shit? You want to come on and share a story? You got a powerful message? You thought of something while you're just send me a text, bro, and it's done just like that. So,
All right, I got you on the phone. Dial in.
ladies and gentlemen, Charlie PeeWee Goldsmith. I am Rocky Stucci from the Rocky Stucci Show. StucciMedia.com is a place that you want to be. From PeeWee, I am Rocky Stucci. From our family to yours, much love, much respect. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, like I always say, rule number one, don't take shit from nobody. I love you guys.